What if I told you that success isn't a mystery, it's a moral obligation, that if your life feels aimless or chaotic, it's not because the world is unjust, but because you've neglected the timeless principles that shape order from chaos? Let me be very clear. The difference between failure and success isn't intelligence, luck, or even opportunity. It's responsibility, it's discipline, it's structure, and you must know what you're aiming at. Now, I'm not here to offer some sugar-coated feel-good prescription for success. I'm here to challenge you, because success, real success, is the outcome of confronting suffering voluntarily, not avoiding it. So, here are 10 keys, fundamental principles, not tricks, not hacks, that you must integrate into your being if you want to thrive in this complex, demanding world. First, define your values. If you don't know what you stand for, you'll fall for anything. Second, take responsibility, radical, uncomfortable responsibility, for everything you can. Third, tell the truth, or at least don't lie. Lies weaken your character, and weak character cannot support a successful life. Fourth, pursue what is meaningful, not what is expedient. Temporary pleasures steal long-term purpose. Fifth, clean your room, literally and metaphorically. Start with the chaos nearest to you. Sixth, aim higher. Don't be afraid to set a goal that's beyond your current capabilities. You'll grow into it. Seventh, surround yourself with people who want the best for you, not those who tolerate your mediocrity. Eighth, discipline your habits. You don't rise to the level of your motivation. You fall to the level of your systems. Ninth, embrace suffering. It's the forge of transformation. And 10th, never underestimate the power of speaking precisely. Words shape reality, yours and others. Success is not a destination, it's a process of becoming, and that process demands clarity, courage, and sacrifice. So start now, not tomorrow, now. Stand up straight. Face the dragon, and go make something of yourself. Here are 6 important key points. Take radical responsibility. Success begins with owning your circumstances. Blaming others or the world keeps you weak. Taking full responsibility for your actions, choices, and future gives you the power to change. 1. Pursue meaning over expedience. Chasing comfort or shortcuts leads to regret. True success demands that you pursue what is meaningful, something bigger than pleasure or convenience, because meaning sustains you through difficulty. Tell the truth, or at least don't lie. Integrity is essential. When you lie to yourself or others, you distort reality and weaken your ability to act effectively. Honesty brings clarity, and clarity breeds success. Taking radical responsibility is the cornerstone of personal transformation and long-term success. Most people are tempted to blame their circumstances, their upbringing, or the world for their lack of progress. While external factors do play a role, they are not the deciding factor. What truly separates those who succeed from those who remain stagnant is the willingness to take ownership, completely and without excuse, of their lives. When you accept that your life is your responsibility, you stop waiting for someone to save you or for the perfect conditions to appear. Instead, you begin to act with intention, even when things are unfair or difficult. This mindset shift is uncomfortable because it requires you to confront your own shortcomings. You have to admit that your current situation is, to a large extent, the result of your own decisions. That level of honesty stings, but it is also incredibly liberating. It means you are not powerless. It means you can make better choices, learn new skills, and change your trajectory. Responsibility gives you control over your destiny. It removes the illusion that life is just happening to you and replaces it with the reality that you are an active agent in shaping your future. Avoiding responsibility might feel easier in the short term, but it leads to bitterness and helplessness. It keeps you dependent on others and disconnected from your potential. In contrast, when you take responsibility, you develop discipline, resilience, and purpose. You begin to see setbacks not as punishments, but as challenges to overcome. This perspective builds strength and self-respect. Ultimately, success is not about avoiding problems. It's about confronting them head on and deciding every day that you are accountable for who you are and who you are becoming. 2. Start by cleaning your room before trying to fix the world. Bring order to your immediate environment, conquering the chaos closest to you. Your room, your routine, your habits is the first step toward larger success. Pursuing what is meaningful rather than what is expedient is a principle that demands maturity, patience, and vision. In a world driven by instant gratification, it's easy to choose the path that offers quick rewards. Whether it's procrastination, indulgence, or avoiding hard conversations, these expedient choices provide temporary relief, but often create deeper problems in the long run. Meaning, on the other hand, involves choosing the harder road, the one that requires sacrifice, discipline, and long-term thinking. It's not always comfortable, but it leads to a life of purpose, fulfillment, and authentic success. Meaning often comes with struggle. It means doing what's right, not what's easy. It's waking up early to work on a skill that won't pay off for years, standing by your principles even when it's unpopular, or helping others when you'd rather look after yourself. These actions don't always bring immediate pleasure, but they forge character, and character is what sustains you when things inevitably become difficult. Expedience avoids pain, meaning endures it for the sake of something greater. That's the difference between living for today and building a life worth remembering. Many people feel lost or anxious because they've filled their lives with things that distract rather than develop. Chasing what's convenient dulls the soul. It erodes integrity and leaves a person hollow, no matter how much money or comfort they gain. In contrast, when you choose what is meaningful, you align yourself with something enduring. You become someone who can carry responsibility, lead others, and find peace even in chaos. Meaning roots you in a higher aim, and that aim gives direction to your life. If you want to build true success, look not for the easiest option, but for the choice that deepens your strength and sharpens your soul. 3. Discipline. Your habits' motivation fades, but discipline endures. Success is built through structured routines, consistent action, and self-control. Your habits shape your future, often more than talent or luck. Telling the truth, or at least not lying, is one of the most powerful yet difficult principles to live by. It sounds simple, but its implications are profound. Every time you lie, even in small ways, you distort reality. You create a false version of the world, and that falsehood begins to shape your actions, your relationships, and your self-understanding. Over time, lies stack upon each other, forming a fragile structure that can collapse at any moment. Living a lie breeds anxiety because deep down, you know you're not aligned with reality. You're performing, hiding, or pretending, and that tension weakens you. Truth, however, brings clarity. It doesn't always bring comfort, but it clears the fog. When you commit to honesty, you start seeing the world as it is, not as you wish it were. You become more precise in your speech, more responsible in your behavior, and more grounded in your thinking. That clarity is essential for real success. You can't build anything stable, whether it's a career, a relationship, or a lie, on a foundation of deception. Truth gives you something solid to stand on. This doesn't mean you should be harsh or brutal in your honesty. It means you should stop participating in the game of deception, both with others and with yourself. When you're honest, you give others the chance to trust you. When you're honest with yourself, you face your flaws directly, and that's the first step toward growth. People often lie to avoid conflict or pain, but in doing so, they often create more suffering over time. Success demands integrity, and integrity starts with truth. If you want your words to have weight, your actions to have meaning, and your life to have impact, you must start by telling the truth, or at the very least refuse to lie. 4. Embrace suffering as a catalyst for growth. Pain is not your enemy, it's your teacher. When you face difficulty voluntarily, it strengthens you. Growth happens when you walk toward the struggle, not away from it. Cleaning your room may seem like a simple or even trivial act, but it represents a much deeper principle about personal responsibility and order. It is a symbolic and practical starting point for transforming your life. When your physical space is cluttered, chaotic, or neglected, it reflects a lack of structure and clarity in your inner world. By cleaning and organizing your environment, you begin to confront disorder in a tangible way. You are taking control over something you can influence, no matter how small, and that act begins to ripple outward. People often look at the world's problems and feel overwhelmed. They want to change big systems, challenge corruption, or fix broken institutions. But the truth is, you cannot bring order to the world if you cannot first bring order to your own life. Your room is a representation of your mind, your habits, and your ability to take action. When you clean it, you are making a statement. I will no longer tolerate chaos, at least not in the part of the world that I control. This practice also teaches discipline. It requires decision, making, prioritization, and consistency. When you take the time to put your surroundings in order, you develop a sense of pride and ownership. You begin to notice how small improvements can lead to a more focused, peaceful state of being, and with that clarity, you become more capable of facing larger challenges. Success is not achieved through grand gestures alone. It often begins with small acts of responsibility that build momentum. When you clean your room, you take the first step in transforming your life. It's not just about tidiness. It's about cultivating a mindset of order, discipline, and self-respect, one that lays the foundation for meaningful success. Discipline, your habits' motivation fades, but discipline endures. Success is built through structured routines, consistent action, and self-control. Your habits shape your future often more than talent or luck. Discipline of habits is one of the most overlooked yet essential keys to lasting success. People often rely on motivation to push them forward, but motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes, fluctuates with mood, and disappears under pressure. Habits, however, are consistent. They form the structure of your daily life and determine the direction of your future. What you do repeatedly, even in small doses, shapes who you become. If your habits are aligned with your goals, progress becomes automatic. If they aren't, you're likely to drift, no matter how much you dream or desire. Building disciplined habits requires intentionality. It starts by identifying the actions that will lead to your long-term growth, and then committing to them, even when you don't feel like it. That might mean waking up early to read, working on your skills every day, limiting distractions, or choosing healthy routines over destructive ones. These small, consistent choices are what eventually separate high achievers from everyone else. They don't rely on spurts of energy, they build systems that keep them moving forward. Success doesn't come from a single heroic effort. It comes from doing the right things over and over again, even when no one is watching. This takes discipline, saying no to short-term pleasure in favor of long-term gain. It requires self-awareness, patience, and a deep understanding of what you truly want. Discipline creates freedom. The more disciplined your habits are, the more control you gain over your time, your energy, and your future. You stop being reactive and start becoming strategic. Over time, your habits define your character, and your character defines your destiny. If you want to build a life of meaning and impact, don't wait for motivation. Build disciplined habits that will carry you when motivation fades. Embrace suffering as a catalyst for growth. Pain is not your enemy, it's your teacher. When you face difficulty voluntarily, it strengthens you. Growth happens when you walk toward the struggle, not away from it. Embracing suffering as a catalyst for growth is one of the most transformative ideas a person can accept. Life, by its very nature, is filled with pain. Loss, failure, disappointment, uncertainty. The difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck is how they respond to that suffering. Most people try to avoid pain at all costs. They distract themselves, numb their emotions, or look for shortcuts. But pain that is avoided doesn't disappear, it lingers, deepens, and often returns stronger. Growth comes not from avoiding suffering, but from confronting it directly and voluntarily. When you willingly face discomfort, you build strength. You prove to yourself that you are capable of enduring and overcoming. That process shapes your character in ways comfort never could. Think of a muscle. It only grows when it's pushed beyond its limit, when it tears and heals stronger. The same is true for your mind, your emotions, and your spirit. Difficulty reveals who you are, and more importantly, who you could become. By embracing suffering, you forge resilience, and resilience is essential for achieving anything meaningful. Avoiding pain might bring temporary ease, but it leads to stagnation. On the other hand, choosing to engage with challenges, whether it's facing your fears, accepting failure, or enduring the grind of consistent effort, creates a path to transformation. It's in these moments of struggle that you uncover your potential. You learn discipline, humility, and courage. You start to understand that success is not about avoiding hardship, but about becoming someone who can carry it well. The more you lean into your suffering with purpose, the more you expand your capacity to lead, to create, and to thrive. Suffering isn't the enemy, it's the fire in which strength is forged. Accept it and let it shape you. If you want to transform your life in 2025, start by taking full responsibility for everything you can control. Tell the truth even when it's hard. Pursue what is meaningful, not what is easy. Clean your room. Bring order to your world. Discipline your habits because motivation will fail you. Face your fears and voluntarily embrace the suffering that shapes strength. Surround yourself with people who want you to grow. Aim high even if you're not ready. Speak clearly. Act with courage. In a chaotic world, structure your life around truth and purpose. That's how you become who you're meant to be.